Mono
The
Dragon
one and only
episode
Xanathar
0 of
here
Fight
to
Club.
announce Yu-Gi-Oh! Fight Club.
It's
Season
back!
4.
And I
Now,
figured
for those of you
since,
who
you know what,
don't
I'm
remember the
finishing up
first rule
frickin'
about Fight
Richie's
Club, always
Minecraft
talk
the
about
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Fight
series, I
Club,
figured, you know what,
whether
let's
it's in the comments
finish
below
with
or with
Xylos
anyone you
too.
know. Man, it felt good to say that again. We're back. So
Okay,
good
so
to be back
greatest
with Fight
list.
Club. Now,
Boat got
before we get into it,
Cybers,
before
Mario
we talk
got
about the deck,
Dinosaur,
and trust me, I want to talk
Xylo
about the
got
deck.
Dragons, obviously,
We need to
Dan
go
got
over
Fiends,
what
Richie
is
got
Fight Club for those
Psychics,
of you who are
John
new
John,
here. We have
he is,
8
got
YouTubers going
Spellcaster,
head-to-head in an
Zoo
epic
got Winged
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Beast, and
tournament.
Brandon got
However,
Zombies.
there's a twist. First
The
of
other
all,
four have yet to be
you do
decided.
not get to select your own deck.
Again.
That is randomized for you. Second
Chaos
of all,
Dragon Leviair.
when you get that deck, you can only use monsters of one type, excluding Link monsters, because we kind of need them.
Yeah.
So in this case, I have been randomized to Dragon, so I happen to have a lot of options. But after 7 weeks of round-robin tournament, the top 4 duelists will go into a final tournament, where the winner is crowned champion of Yu-Gi-Oh! Fight Club. So, on the side of the screen over there, you see that we have all of the different types that were put in the randomizer. Some of them were left out because they have either been extensively used before, or because they're simply not quite good enough. Like, we didn't want people landing on fish again, for example, because that's been notoriously a bad type in Yu-Gi-Oh! Fight Club. What are you going to do with fish? A few other
You did
types
pretty
that
well
are pretty
with sea
decent were
serpents, to
taken
be
out
fair.
just so we would not see a lot of repeats of previous seasons.
And yet
But
you
these 8
allowed
types all have
dragons,
some
which is
serious
the
potential.
most
Over on this side of
the
the
most
screen here,
support
we have the
archetype
12
in
types that we
Yu-Gi-Oh!
randomized.
Ever.
Some of the types were left
There's
out,
so
of
much
course,
support they had to
because
make some of
some
them
are just really
worms,
bad, others we've seen
just so
too
they
much
could
of
have
before,
another type of
and honestly,
dragon.
no one wants to land on fish. You can't really do much with fish in this competition. However, there
Clearly,
are a
you
lot
have
of
never
good
met
types
with
still
my
in the running.
synchro fish. They
So,
can't do anything.
Actual
Wait,
Boatnose landed on the
I
Cybers
just
type.
bite
You
myself in
might
the
see some
arse.
Salamangreats coming from him. Mario took my stinking dinosaurs.
It's got a
And
great book
in
at
the running, when we were
Salamangreats.
randomizing, each person was allowed to
Well, then
reroll
again,
one
this
of their
might be
opponents once.
Salamangreats
So
when they
after
were
the
still
randomization,
bad.
if, say, someone
You know,
landed
there's
on
like
Dinosaur,
3
I
cards,
could
maybe.
reroll them. And I did reroll someone. But then at the end, Mario ended up getting Dinosaur anyway. I landed on Dragon. Pretty solid type, but there's a million options I could go for.
One with
Dan
blue
has
eyes.
Fiend, Richie has Psychic. Richie actually landed on Machine first, but you know we had to re-roll him. No one gets Machine here, and indeed no one did get Machine. Which is kind of sad on one end, but then again we don't have to fight Cyber Dragons, so that's good.
Yeah.
We also
So
have
Warrior,
Spellcaster
Thunder, and
going
Worm
to
are
the
just
new
left
John
out.
John, and we know Spellcaster's got some potential. If you don't know about that, check out Season 1. Thunder and Warrior, 2 of what would have been the strongest types in this competition, no one
Because
landed
of
on,
Thunder
period.
Dragons.
Winged
That's
Beast
the only
went
reason
to
Thunder
Zoo,
would have been
and
good.
he's going to be my first duel in week 1. Nobody got Worm,
Don't even think
and
about
Brandon
Warrior.
got Zombies. So we have a lot to worry about. Obviously, in Monotype, Zombies are going to be a big threat. Spellcasters can
Zombies
obviously
are
be a
so
big
strong they
threat.
could potentially
And
be
then
an
some of the
engine by
duelists in the
themselves. You don't
competition
even
are
need
just
an
plain
archetype.
good.
You just need
So,
generic
we'll see what we can
zombies,
do.
and they're
But
actually
coming to
pretty
me,
good.
Dragon. There's a lot of
They're
types
just
we
waiting
could
for a
go
really
into.
broken
We
meta
were
deck in
talking
order to be
about Odd Eyes,
unstoppable.
Guard Dragons, Red Eyes with
They haven't really gotten
Synchro
that yet.
spamming. There was, Dragoonides popped up, Galaxy Eyes. I could probably name a few more, but those were some of the main ones we tested out. If you didn't see the streams, I tested out a lot of Dragon decks. Like, a lot.
I wouldn't know.
But
I
we
didn't
essentially
watch.
came down to 2 decks. It was Red Eyes Guard Dragons or just Blue Eyes Chaos Max. And, as you can see, I have chosen to use Chaos Max.
Because no
Now,
one wants to
Chaos
deal
Max
with Guard
is
Dragons. Also, if
definitely
Guard Dragons
weakened by
exist
the
now,
fact
that
that I
means
can't
that
have
full
support.
power summon
No
Greats
Manju,
both
no
got
incantations.
lovely.
But I made a way that it can kind of still work out. Slightly less efficiently than a Blue Eyes Max deck, but in this competition, Blue Eyes Max is really hard to get around. Sometimes it's just hard to get around Blue Eyes Max and you have some counters in your deck. In this case, people don't get to select all of those different counters. They don't get to choose that so often.
That's
so
why it's
I
called
decided
Mono
Chaos
Dragon,
Max is
as
going
in
to be the
just
better
dragons.
option.
Link's not
But before
included.
getting into this deck, I will take a peek at my other potential deck that I was going to go with.
Red Eyes Guard
Red Eyes
Dragon.
Guard Dragon. Now this deck is
It's even got
actually
some
phenomenal.
rockets in there.
Just with Guard Dragons, you can make so many big plays
Guard
so
Dragons
easily.
are ridiculous.
Like, there's a lot of dragon support that can be used.
It's the
And
fact
really
they
just
just
get a guard
they
main
just
and then he
keep
gets to
coming
bring
back.
out
It's like
any
usually anything
extra
else, just
deck
like, oh
monster.
yeah,
Such as
if I go to
Scarlet,
grave, you can just
Crystal
ban.
Wind,
I have to get
Heals,
banished again.
or even bigger things like
Like if I
Draco
revive
Cytos
myself, then go,
or
I just
more.
gotta
There's
get banished.
a
It's
lot
like
of
no, I just
options,
come
and
back.
We're gonna be seeing a lot
like,
of those options.
I
in upcoming
disagree to
months
this kind of
because
power
I'm gonna be
creeping.
doing a lot of dragon decks in December.
Have some semblance of balance.
This deck essentially essentially what it came down to, what the choice was, although this can get first turn Crystal Wing super easy, although it can get, you know, if I'm on second turn Dracocytos plus Red Eyes on the field, what it came down to is all of the counters for Chaos Max also work against this. So when you're talking about countering Chaos Max, things like Storming Near Force,
I guess
for
for the
example,
fact of, you know,
it also gets around Crystal Wing. So
plus,
it's a little tough.
you know,
it's a little tough to
Chaos Max
choose.
does have continuous version
this
where
deck, I
clear
think, has
wing
more
is one-time
potential.
protection.
Definitely more potential, but much more room for error. Personally, this is my first week trying out this deck, so
Guard Dragon,
I
Red
could
Eyes
easily
going
make a
into
mistake
board.
personally.
Huh.
Now I think I would get better
They go
with the deck
into
over
easier
time,
than Rockets,
but
considering
I could
they
definitely see myself making some
they
user
have to go
error
through like
mistakes.
so many
I
hurdles
didn't have
to do
enough
it.
time to make this deck perfect to how I want. I think it's good as is, but one could argue that without the Red Eyes it would be better, but I still want to have Red Eyes plays on backup for if someone does stop the Guard Dragon plays, so that's why this goes. And there's just so many variables to this. There's so many things, like if someone has like anything, any counters in their side deck.
Personally, I would
some
go with the
part
Red
of this
Eyes
because
deck.
you have to do
Well,
about
it's,
10 different
just
summons
see something different then.
just to get your
Oh
plays
look,
moving here, which
Chaos
can be
Max
stopped at
Turbo.
any time
Never
by
seen that
a multitude
before.
of effects. It's an incredibly fun deck.
I mean,
I'm gonna
Guard
be using it in the
Dragon's
future
Red Eyes isn't
a lot.
anything new, but
But
it's just
for
like
now,
it's something
this is a
different to
competition.
me
Let's just
personally.
annoy people with Chaos Max.
Fair enough.
So
I
a lot
guess.
of you are here to probably hear about the deck, why I chose it, and why it's good. This deck centers around Blue Eyes Chaos
Hasn't
Max
established.
Dragon, a stupidly overpowered
Yeah.
monster. Yes, it can be beat,
He's not
but
invincible,
it is
but
really annoying
he is
to beat
annoying.
because 1, he cannot be targeted by your opponent's effects,
I really
and
wish.
2, he cannot be destroyed by battle.
No, he
That
can be
leaves
destroyed
a
by battle.
very narrow window.
He cannot be
of
destroyed by
effects that
card
can actually
effects.
defeat him. And if you don't do it by effects, you got to do it by power. And he
I
just
thought he
happens
couldn't
to
be
be
destroyed
packing
by
4,000
battle.
attack
Oops.
points. So he's
Misspoke.
not
I
exactly
get it.
easy to overcome, and he's not incredibly hard to summon. He's a little harder to summon with
Yeah.
this deck, however.
Mainly because you can't play
So to get some
incantations.
support for that, we have all 6 of the potential ritual
3
cards
Chaos
in here.
Forms
Of
and
course,
3
3 Chaos Forms and 3
Too bad
advanced
there's no
ritual
Manju with the
arts.
10,000
I did have 2 advanced
dragons.
ritual arts in here at first, but then I took a few things out and decided it's for the best. So we have that, and we also have Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon.
The retrain.
This guy is essentially a smaller form of it. He still has the, you cannot target him.
Though
with
he is
destroying
good with
effects,
Chaos
but he has
Max.
3,000 attack,
They're made
and
to
he has
go
different,
together.
offensive
Chaos Max be like,
capabilities,
I'm gonna put your
which
shit
I
into
just realized I
defensive
hadn't
mode and
mentioned.
make your defense
This guy,
zero.
when he
Max be
attacks
like,
a
thanks,
monster,
buddy.
He
Boom.
sends it to face down, or sends it to face up defense mode, and it has 0 defense. Also, he
Plus, he
pierces.
actually looks like
So anything
Blue Eyes
you
a bit
attack
more
with
than
this guy
Chaos
will
Max
do
does.
3,000 damage to your opponent's life points. The Chaos Max, however, if you attack with
Chaos
him,
Max's artwork is
he will either
one
just
of
kill something,
contention.
or
Some
he'll do
people love it,
piercing
some
damage
people
as
can't
well,
stand it.
except he does double piercing damage.
I do like
So
the
if your
lightning on the
opponent has a
ground,
monster
though.
with 0 defense points on the field in defense mode, 1 attack with Blue Eyes Chaos Max wins you the game. If you really have the right hand, you can combo it up by putting that monster in defense mode with 0 defense with Chaos
And rituals
Dragon,
were one of the
and
few
then
types
finishing
of
him off
monsters
with
that
Chaos
weren't
Max
nerfed by
Dragon.
Master Rule
That's
4
really
because
fun to do.
rituals
A little
aren't
harder
an
in this
extra
deck,
mechanic.
but I've certainly done it before with this deck.
Until they
So,
eventually make some
all
cards
these
like you
ritual
can
cards
ritual
will
summon this
summon
from the extra deck,
and
like
we even
pendulum
have
summoning
Dark Magic
in a
Inheritance
special
in here.
way or
You
something
may be
like
wondering
that.
why.
Who knows?
Just because it can search the Chaos form.
I kind of want
And
Konami's next
we also
summoning
have
mechanic
this
to be
card here,
like
Renewal of the
new
World,
summoning,
which if I play
new
this
summoning
card on my
mechanic,
opponent's
ritual
turn,
summoning.
I
What?
can tribute a monster from my
We'll
hand,
actually do it
which I
competently
have a lot
this
of level
time.
8s in this deck. It's pretty easy. And then I can shuffle a ritual monster into my, well, I can banish one of my ritual monsters, such
Yeah.
as Chaos Max. And then the next
Too bad
turn,
Ruin and
I can
Demise
put
is
him
for
into the field.
isn't
So it's
that
essentially a
great.
one-card
I mean,
Chaos Max.
it's
just
not
a little
bad
bit
per se,
slower
just like
than my
eh.
other plays.
You
I don't run
don't really
Renewal of
expect
the
them to
World
be
in my
meta though. To be
normal
fair, just
Chaos
like
Max
hey,
deck.
they're getting some
But
support.
this
That's
deck needed
great
a
for
little bit of
them. It's
help,
not very
so
good, but
although
good
it's a
for
little
them.
slower,
You
I
know, they
think
got
it's the right
something.
card to make. Now, how do I search the Chaos Max? We talked about finding the other card. Well, also, before we get off that page, Bingo Machine Go. This card can search
Every time
any
I
Blue
think
Eyes
Bingo
card,
Machine Go,
such as
I know
Chaos
it's supposed to be the freaking
So,
roulette thing that
that is
Kaiba
9
used in order to
cards
get the
there, or
numbers for
actually
the
10
Battle City
cards
finals. But I
that
just
are
think of the
the virtual
Vegito
spell summoning
Bingo scene
Pretty
from
good.
Dragon Ball.
Bingo Machine Go
Frickin'
can
Battle
also
of
search any
Gods.
of the Chaos Maxes. So far
It's
we're
time to
at
play some
7
Bingo!
or
Go,
8
go!
cards to get Chaos Max, if we count the Chaos Dragon. On top of that, we have Melody of Awakening Dragon, which I just have to discard a card, and then I can get 2 cards to my hand.
So he
Chaos
breaks
Max,
even.
and then usually either a Blue Eyes or an alternative, just to get an
That
alternative
is the
playoff.
reason you run it, yeah.
So we have 11 cards to get the monster in here, and 10 cards to get the spell. Not too bad, I don't think. On top of that, we also have Draw Power with Trade-In and Pot of Desires. Pot of Desires, I
Risky.
gotta banish a lot of stuff, and I draw 2 cards. And with trade-in,
It's a
I
risk versus
discard one
reward
of
thing,
my
because I
level
can
8s.
imagine he
And I draw 2
banishes
cards.
all the
A lot of draw
rituals
power
and
in
all
this
the
deck, a lot
ritual
of search power.
spells.
I even have an
Somehow,
Upstart
even though that would
Goblin
make
in here
11.
just to make it slightly more
He
consistent.
banishes like
Plus,
the
an extra spell
ritual
in the
monsters,
grave
but,
is useful when
draws
using
2
Dark
ritual
Magic
spells, or
Inheritance.
vice versa.
On top of all of the just sheer power of summoning Chaos Max, it's literally more than 50% of the deck. We have just some regular Blue Eyes stuff. We got our 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to mostly use as material for this, but to also bring out
Blue Eyes is
alternative
used as an
White
engine
Dragon.
instead of an
And this
arc.
card, when I put it out, I activate its effect and just destroy 1 monster on the field.
Blue
Pretty
Eyes,
handy.
the
Or I
meta
can
card
attack
of the
with it if I
freaking
need more
original
damage.
series that
But
just
really
lays
what I wanna
waste to
do with
anything
this
who sees it.
is I'm gonna use
Nowadays,
this
it's
to
just part of my
combine
engine.
Xe summoning into one of my level 8 monsters.
Blue Eyes is
That
taking
usually
the role
being
of
Galaxy
Gem
Eye
Knight
Cypher
Garnets.
Now, he could use his effect to take control of an
Ridiculous.
opponent's monster, not normally something I need to do. I can then go into Galaxy Eye's Full Armor Photon Dragon, then I can destroy 1 card on my opponent's side of the field, not too bad, and then from there go into Galaxy Eye's Dark Matter Dragon, and this is where it gets interesting.
Because
You
he
see
died
these 2
due
cards
to
in
the
the deck up here? They seem a little out of place.
He died due
we
to
have
Rusty
Arcbrave
Barnacle
Dragon, who's a
sins.
level 7, and a Morphage Goliath, who's an Earth
Guard
monster.
dragons.
But really, the main reason they're in here is because Dark Matter Dragon banishes 3, or sends 3 cards from my deck to the graveyard in exchange to banish my opponent's monsters. So, this guy goes to the grave, this guy goes to the grave, and then usually one of these 2 go to
Depends
the
on
grave.
how I'm
But
feeling.
the thing is, when this goes to the grave, the next turn
It's
I
a
get to
sacred
special
phoenix.
summon this guy right at the beginning of my
Oh
opponent's
boy,
turn.
Goliath.
And this
Ugh.
guy means my opponent
Morphage
can't
is
use their
worm
extra deck
steak.
at all. Yeah, it's pretty nice.
No, it isn't.
So,
It's
a
nice for
very-
you.
Well, I guess it's not standard, but pretty much I'm always going to either have a Chaos Max on my side of the field that my opponent has to struggle to get over, or I'll have this out there and they won't be able to use their extra deck. Oh yeah, plus this guy's 4,000 attack. I guess that's worth mentioning. It's not bad. It just, you can use card effects to destroy this guy. He's not as overpowered as the other cards. So that's a pretty good
Don't
thing.
Raigeki me, bro.
On top of this, we only run 2 of the white stones because really I want a lot of level 8s in this deck,
can't
and I have a
bro.
lot of spells that just go through other spells. So that's kind of how that works. White Stone of Ancients is honestly my least favorite, but it's here, and then White Stone Legend gets me a Blue Eyes to hand when I do discard it. So usually when I discard 3, it's the Amorphage, Arcbrave, and then White Stone. So I get just so many cards. So
many
cards.
pluses.
Of course, we're also running 3 Return of the Dragon Lords. Not only so I can use it to special summon a Blue Eyes from my grave, and then use it to go into those
I wonder
level
what the
8
next
plays I
gimmick
was
will
talking
be.
about,
Only monsters
but
of
so we
this
can get its protection
attribute,
ability more importantly.
like fire,
'Cause you know what's
water,
really
limited-
annoying?
limited to 6,
When you go through all this trouble
7
getting the right
include
cards
divine,
to
but that's
defeat
only
Chaos
3
Max
monsters.
Dragons, and then I just
12
say nope, and
considering,
banish a card.
you know,
That means
prerogative.
it switches back over to my turn, and I have Chaos Max, and you're gonna have a bad time. It's pretty fun. Also, we have, for the same reason, Ultimate Creature of
Toughest, the
Destruction.
invincible, the
Because that also protects
unbeatable.
Chaos Max. It's pretty good. Someone flips up a card that'll, you know, send him back to hand, banish him. Nope. I just protect him, unaffected by card effects. Simple as that. So, it's pretty good. Some of the cards in this deck are a little slower than some of the normal things I would play.
It's weird
But
seeing like the
man, is it
anime sort of
effective.
look to it and then seeing
Now, before we
regular
talk about
how
the
card
extra deck,
design's,
I
like,
want to talk
weird,
about
you
some
know?
of the cards in the side deck, such as Chaos Emperor and Chaos Dragon Levianeer. These guys were in the main deck for a good long while, but I soon realized they were kind of occasionally a dead card in a deck I really don't want dead cards in. So, in the end, I decided I'm either going to be running these 2, or these 2, Amorphage and Arcbrave. Because if my opponent's running a lot of extra deck,
Goliath's more useful.
then I'm going to want Amorphage so I can shut that down. And if my opponent doesn't have an extra deck, such as Dinosaurs, for example, then I'm not going to worry about
Then
that,
ends
and I
up
can
playing
freely put
Diracs
this
just
guys
to
in.
fuck with you.
On top of that, if I am running the Chaos Dragons, I'm also going to throw in the Blue Eyes Chaos Dragon and Dragon Shrine in exchange for one of the alternatives and something else, just so I can balance the
I think I
dark
tried
and
to do
light
like a
monsters a little
Dirac
better and
frickin'
send some more to the
a
grave a
Dirac
little
deck
easier.
with Ultimate
I
Conductor
feel like that kind
Tyranno.
of works with the deck
Diracs didn't
pretty
stay
well,
very
and
long.
I
It
can
just
switch it up on my
became Ultimate
opponents
Conductor
every now and then.
Tyranno with his
Moving to the
friends, the
extra deck.
Diracs.
It's situational, to say the least. Let's just talk about the one play that
I love
I'm
whenever
actually
that
gonna
happens.
use
Just
a
like,
lot,
I'm just
the
gonna have this
Cypher
guy and
Dragon.
here's a tech,
I
and then
already
it
told you
becomes the
about it.
entire
Cypher Dragon
deck.
goes into other things. If I
I
want to go
played
into Cypher Blade Dragon
while it was
instead
legal.
of
I
going
played
to Lockdown,
Tempest
if I
Harpy
need to cancel
Ladies.
my
It
opponent's
stopped
effects, I
being
can do
Harpy.
that.
It just became
But that's
Tempest
pretty
with
much
his
it.
friends, the
Really just
Harpy
go for the Dark
Ladies.
Matter Dragon with this deck. If I really want to, I can
ridiculous.
Hope Harbinger, so I can stop spell cards. If
Say that
that's
they
a
weren't
big
helping,
problem.
you just need help.
If I really want to, I can
Oy.
go into Thunder End Dragon if my opponent has a full field of something, and I feel like the other options aren't good for that. Honestly, Thunder End is never going to get used, because just by going to this play, I can clear, you know, one monster with Cypher Dragon, one with Photon Dragon, and then Dark Matter can attack twice. Or I guess if he's attacking, I can't clear it with Cypher. So I can still clear 3 monsters on the field with that combo, and that's assuming I don't have any other Blue Eyes or Chaos Max. So it's a very situational option. And even more situational is, well, we got the Blue Eyes.
To be fair,
Spirit Dragon,
Thunder End
Silver
Dragon is a pretty
That's
decent Regeki.
sometimes used when I actually don't
not the worst
discard
card
my
ever
White
made.
Stone of Legend
Far
to get
from it,
another
I
Blue
think.
Eyes. I could put it on the field if I really wanted to. Get myself one of these.
Just the fact that
Sure,
it
I
limits
prefer
only
other extra
normal
deck options,
monsters.
but it's not a bad thing if you want to stop your opponent's graveyard. Then we get really out of there. Say I just have a Blue Eyes, an alternative, and one of these guys in my hand, you know. We
Right,
could,
don't have a Cloud
yes, we
Castle
could go
then,
for
just
the
for some
Blue
backup
Eyes
support.
Spirit, or if we're feeling really up to it, we can go for a
Then again,
Crystal
I've seen
Needle
that thing
Fiber
be
and
run
get
with
the other
frickin'
one out. Sure,
The
why
King
not?
Calamity, the end
Then,
of all
we'll get to use the
thingamafuckers.
effect of Coral Dragon.
The rank
during
9 guy is
opponent's
like no
turn.
fun, which I killed
Sure,
before just for
if
the
we
fun
want
of
to
it.
discard. It's very situational. I'm probably not going to use it in Fight Club. Then, say our opponent gives us a Kaiju, and we have a monster, and we want to get rid of the Kaiju, we can use Underclock Taker. Because if Underclock Taker's there with a, you know, Chaos Max below him, he'll be able to use it a little bit. So that's a potential play.
Haven't seen that though.
Say
to
we
be
got,
fair.
you know, something in our hands, and we, like, really need it. Say we just have, for example, a Chaos Max, or not even, just like an alternative, and a White Stone of Legend
Kinda wish
in our
Underclock
hand.
Taker pointed up.
Well, then
though.
I can
That'd be
play
more
White
useful.
Stone Legend and Link Karibo him off, so I can at least have an alternative play. The extra deck is really just when I get
Yeah,
desperate.
seems to
That's
be.
what it is in this thing. Okay, let's get more desperate.
Induct
So, say
the
my
World
opponent
Chalice
has
Dragon.
something out with an upwards arrow, such as like a Skull Dread, for example. I can pull out the Induct the World Chalice Dragon using a Blue Eyes, and well, I guess Skull Dread wouldn't be a good example. But say it's something that I am afraid
Some
of,
of the Luster
and I
Dragon.
can use this to link up to my opponent. Then I can use this and destroy that monster.
Look, desperate times
Yeah.
call for desperate actions, okay?
Sometimes. Or if I have 2 dragons and for some reason all of the target and destroying that I can do isn't available, I can...
Look, you had to keep
well,
the
I
wing
guess-
somewhat focused on
yeah.
dragons.
I guess if all the destruction I have isn't available, I can still return one to that. Look, I'm never going to use
Yeah.
these cards.
Look, it's
They're-
like
they're here
Brionek.
just because we
or-
don't have options,
It's like
but,
Brionek and frickin'
you know,
the
Well, that's not true.
Shark
I do
Drake
have options.
in the
but with this deck,
Atlantic. It's
I'm
like,
not going
yeah,
to use
these
a
are
lot
never
of the
getting summoned.
options. I considered mixing a few Guard Dragon plays
Brionek
into
did get
this,
summoned, to be fair.
but those were even less likely to come out than this. Like, I found
It's
a
like,
way that you
it's
can
like
run
what
Guard
Sister
Dragon
Black
stuff
Rose
in
used
this
to have.
deck,
I
but it's
might
really
get
not a
been
big
in a
point to
bad
it.
situation,
You'd
so
have to
I need the
sacrifice
nukes.
so much to get there. And then what are you going to do? You know, Crystal Wing at the end of the day? I don't want to sacrifice, you know, a Max Dragon and a Morphage Goliath to get to a Crystal Wing. But
You
that's
won't have
that.
to, considering
That's the
they're
deck.
too high
It's
of a level,
consistent.
but,
It's
you
strong.
know.
It's powerful. It is annoying. So I
He's
think
a
it's going to be
bitch.
a big problem for people in Fight Club. Do I think it's the best deck in Fight Club? Probably not. I haven't seen the other people's decks yet, but I know 2 of them certainly have potential to be better. And that's Zombie, probably the best,
Easily.
and then Spellcaster. So between those
Been a
2,
ritual
those could be the
busters,
strongest
let's
one,
see.
but the players are wild cards, so we don't know. Of course, all the other players could have a strong chance with their deck. We don't know. But I think I'll do
Mr.
okay
Chaos
this season.
Dragon, he's
And then we have the
psychic,
extra cards in the side deck, such as a Raigeki if we just have a problem destroying monsters. Twin Twisters, in case we need to destroy spell and traps, such as against those stupid zombies and spellcasters. Yeah, we're going to be back in Twin Twisters. We also have Called by the Grave at 1. Now, you would think, why not run it at 2? Because Called by the Grave is a phenomenal card.
Not too
Mainly
many hand
because,
traps.
Well, hand traps aren't really
But
going to
Richie
be a
does
problem
have
in this
psychic,
tournament.
so that means he's
Just
allowed
like,
to the
you know,
ghost
spellcasters
girls.
and zombies again are going to be the main users of hand traps. And I guess, you know, Psychic has Ghost Ogre, but I don't care about Ghost Ogre. So I don't have to worry about that for most people. The 2 decks I do have to worry about it. I'm going to be packing Twin Twisters anyway, and that's a little more important than stopping hand traps.
Watch Richie
So
run
I'm
ciphering.
not going to side deck
or
my whole side deck
banish
to go up
psychics.
against those. So I don't think I would bring 2 Called by the Graves.
Like Esper
We
Girl
also
and shit
have
like that.
infinite impermanence just to cancel effects and of course stop opponent spell cards if we can help it. We have evenly matched in case we have someone that we're going up against that likes to spam the field. Now, I don't love evenly matched with Chaos Dragon, but we can make it work. Sure, I don't get to attack, but if I use Evenly Matched and then pull out an Amorphage, my opponent's going to have a bad time. Just for fun, we threw in Ritual Buster. I haven't really gotten to, you know, try out its consistency yet. It is going to slow down the deck.
It's not.
But it is going to be incredible.
Why is it part of the Gishki archetype?
So maybe we'll just bring Ritual Buster.
Oh, that's right. Gishki is Japanese for
against,
ritual.
And we just want to, you know, stop.
Just like
because
we
this
have a
means
Gishki.
they can't activate spell or traps until their next standby phase, or my next standby phase.
If you want to know more about
stops
Gishki,
them
check
from
out the
playing
Rank 10
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yu-Gi-Oh video on it.
When I get a Chaos
We had 2
Max.
episodes in 1 week. I'm like, who are you and what have you done with Rank 10 Yu-Gi-Oh?
Anyway, on to the other stuff. We had an Imperial Iron Wall to stop banishing for, say, the Spellcasters and the Zombies, as well as some of the other decks. Like, I know
most of the Zombies,
Richie's
I don't see Spellcasters banishing too often.
Cards, Psychic types to make plays happen, so why not, you know?
So it's
and then
banished Psychic.
Skill Drain, because Skill Drain should always be in a Fight Club deck, unless you need your effects. I got Power, I don't need my effects. Sure, I'd like to keep the effect of Chaos Max Dragon, but if my opponent's effects are better than mine,
banish
I
someone, get 1,200 life points.
And then Solemns. Solemns are trusty. Solemns stop plays. Solemns are good. And that's it. That's my deck. Hopefully you guys are as happy about it as I am. I think it's going to do pretty well. There's a few wild cards in the competition and a few decks that are just going to be better than mine. But I think we can outplay them. I think we can just annoy them. And I think we can win. But let me know what you think of the deck in the comments below. And more importantly, I got a challenge for you guys. In this video, before any of the duels begin, before you see the decks, those 8 players on the side of the screen, see if you can rank them. So, first place, second place, third place, who are you most afraid of? So, put them down the list. I know some are wild cards, but that just makes it an even more threat. I don't know.
In this case, Brandon's the top threat, Dinosaur's right behind it, Cyberse is right behind that,
Fight Club.
Dragon's 4th, Fiend 5th, I gotta go back so I can actually see the list, Psychic 6th, Spellcaster 7th, Wing Beast 8th. So that's my theory about it's gonna go down. So, yeah. See you.